Balloon Beats.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Live. We got no pregame, no postgame today. It's an off day. How we doing, Jalen?
I'm feeling good, man. It kind of is weird to have a day with no baseball after, what was it, 5 days in a row? Four days in a row?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan of it. But
Yeah,
listen,
neither.
it is what it is. Hope everyone's having an awesome night. Shout out to everybody currently in the chat. Let's take attendance. It's Unhinged time, 9 p.m. And this is a throwback because, bro, we haven't gone live at 9 p.m. since when? Before the season started. All right, cool.
It's been a while.
Shout out to D the She, Mookie the Goat, Lori, John, Junior B, Dirtbike Nation, Molly, Brog, Michael, Cake by the Ocean, Christopher, Frank, Daniel, Anthony, Milo Hoffman. That's a quality name. Frank, Julio, Ryan, Kelly, Amy. We got Corey. Who else we got? We got Pistol Pete, Ryan. Hope everyone's having an awesome evening. Listen, we got a few things to talk about today. I guess we could start it off talking about my Judge conspiracy theory. So I don't know how many people were on the postgame last night, but Dan Rourke of Yanks Ave, came up with his own Judge conspiracy theory. We'll touch on that. He thinks that Judge's soreness is as a result of his COVID vaccine. We don't even know if he for sure had the COVID shot, but Dan is convinced it's from that. I'm not buying it. I'm convinced that Judge has been fighting the flu. That's my.
I'm not going to lie. At first, when I saw you and Dan's conspiracy theories, I was a little bit... I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, so I was kind of like, all right. I'll let you guys have your fun. But then I started to think about...
Like the disappointed father.
Yeah, no, I'll let you have fun. It's fine. But then I really started to think about how many times Aaron Boone... Really just Aaron Boone. I haven't heard Cashman really lie as much when it comes to injuries, but Aaron Boone, and especially Aaron Judge, they lie a lot about whatever is going on with him medically. Sometimes here and there he'll throw in a little fib about if somebody's sore or something like that, and then they really tore their something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But with Judge especially, there is a lot of lying going around.
It's so ominous all the time.
I don't know if it's maybe because he knows the reputation of him being injury prone, and he wants the fans to still be on his side. So anytime there's news of injuries, we get very frustrated. But I think we'd be more open to stuff like this if it was just told to us straight up. Instead of saying, and again, this could all be factual, and he could just be a little sore and be fine in a couple days. But I don't know. It just seems a little weird that he goes from, oh, he's under the weather, and then next thing you know, he's coming out of the game early, and it was only a 7-run game, and then everyone's like, okay, well, don't panic, preservation plan, all that. Then he's not running hard to first base, then he's not diving for balls like he usually does, and then next thing you know, he's not in the lineup, and now there's something. Oh, Judge is not dealing with anything, except for this little tiny thing that he's dealing with.
No, yeah, and that's kind of where I get weirded out because I saw it was either John Boy. I think it was John Boy that tweeted out today. He went through like a timeline of all the stuff that's like gone down with Judge in like the past week or so. Bro, I
Yeah.
totally forgot. Last game of spring training, they told us that he was under the weather. That's kind of
Yeah.
where my flu theory comes in because, like, think about it. Maybe like if he was under the weather, right? He either had like a cold or like allergies or the flu, and what comes as a result of the flu? Body aches.
Yeah, but why would I feel like if he had the flu, they would be itching to
Why would
tell us
they
that.
wouldn't even test him for the flu? Like no one tests for the flu anymore. It's just COVID or no.
I don't even think you really test for the. Do you get tested
Yeah,
for the
no,
flu?
there's a flu test. Yeah.
I feel like you just say like, "Oh, I feel shitty, like I have the flu." Like that's
I
how
mean,
it's
like,
been in my
there's a
life.
test to see if you have the flu, but like, that's what I'm saying. They're like, so on COVID, he probably tested negative for COVID. They're like, all right, Judge, like, you just have like a cold. You know what I mean? No,
Yeah, but
okay, listen, I could
bro,
definitely be like overly optimistic right now. He could be actually hurt. I don't know, but like, I'm just trying to be positive.
I think the optimistic lens here though is not that he has the flu or is sore from his COVID shot. I think it's the optimistic route here would just be, he's a big, tall dude, and he does a lot of side work. So maybe he's just a little like I don't think people genuinely understand like when a major league or a professional athlete is sore, it's the same soreness that we deal with, except they play in the 162 game season. So any little nick or soreness that they deal with is like, oh my God, we need to sit him, especially the Yankees and especially their star athlete. So I
No, it's
really
just
don't. I really
frustrating.
hope. I really hope that this is nothing more than just like I don't know.
No, I know. And like
I don't even know.
Sean brings up a really good point here. The fact that we have to have a convo about different theories as to why Judge is quote unquote hurt is so
Yeah,
sad. This organization sucks. It sucks that we just can't get straightforward answers. And it's also annoying that Boone kind of like gave us a description of it being wear and tear. Bro, that's like something you hear in like the middle of August, like when the guys play a full season already. It's been 6 games and he already has wear and tear.
yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
You know what I don't understand is like, well, I mean, I understand it, right? But no, I don't. I don't understand how professional athletes can get like tired or wear and tear
The
playing
flu.
no, but this is not the first time this has happened. Like
No, I know.
The fact that Stanton couldn't play 5 games in a row, why? Like, why? I understand he's injury prone, but like, bro, at some point these guys have to play. Like, at some point we have to get them on the field. They have to earn their money. They have to produce for us in the regular season. You can't just lay our bats down and say we're the Yankees, so we're going to be in the ALCS. Like, at some point,
I agree.
the guy who doesn't even play, he already every single time he plays, he has half of a day off. So
No, yeah.
basically, for 3.5 hours, you're going to tell me he can't stand in a batter's box 4 times in 3 hours,
I
and
know. And it
maybe
sucks.
twice he runs the bases. And then for
Listen, it
Judge,
sucks.
how many for Judge? No, Pat, hold on. For Judge, for literally, I'd say if a game is 3 hours, right? Judge is sitting or standing around doing nothing, just on his feet for about 2 hours and 45 minutes of that in the totality of a baseball game. So I really don't understand why these guys need so much time off.
Yeah. Listen, I say we make predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, is Judge in the lineup, yes or no?
No, not a
Yeah, I
chance.
don't think so.
He doesn't play in the series. And okay, this could be another theory, which is not really as optimistic. It's kind of sad that we have to go this route, but there is a possibility. Judge got a little bit of, I don't know, was it calf tightness or hamstring oblique, whatever the hell they made up the last
Yeah.
time we played in Tampa, because of the turf, which is another myth that I will never understand how professional athletes can't play on
Yeah,
turf. Just get turf shoes. I don't understand. But anyways,
apparently he has them too, so I don't understand what the issue is. He
I don't get
forgot
it.
to wear them last year.
Either way, maybe the Yankees are scared that something will happen as far as him playing on turf this year, so they're gonna try to like have him skip this this chop trip. Say that 10 times fast.
The Trop
But
trip. I like that.
that's once. Just say it 10 times.
Chop chip, chop chip, chop chop. Nope, not happening. I
Can't do
can't
it.
handle it once. You really think I could do it 10 times? But no, like seriously, I just hope Judge is back like fairly soon because this is like
Yeah.
if it is an IL stint, fans will actually riot. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some information tomorrow. Hopefully it's not bad information, but I guess we'll
If he
see.
ends up if he ends up on the IO, I am going to be super pissed off. Not because I'm not. I never get mad at guys for being injured. Like a lot of guys blame Stan. Oh, he's made a glass. Like I get it. It's annoying and
Yeah.
it's frustrating. But then at the end of the day, the Yankees are the ones that make these decisions. I'm sure if you ask Judge or Stanton if they could play through some of these injuries, they'd say yes. Like look at Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt played through what was it, plantar fasciitis last year.
Yeah. But
So
Jalen, like,
I don't call him soft or get mad at them for being out. I'm mad more at the Yankees for lying to their fans, specifically Aaron Boone. Like I don't understand why you do that.
yeah, but here's where I disagree with you. Only because I don't think that Judge doesn't have any say in this. Only because Boone would not know that Judge was sore unless he went to him to complain about it, right? So I highly doubt Judge went
Mm,
up to Boone. He's like, "Hey, coach, like my side is really sore, but like I still want to play."
yeah,
Like,
but
there's no way.
I don't always think that that's the case. I don't always think that it's player tells coach I'm sore. Coach says okay,
How
I
else
have
would
no
he
choice but
know?
coach. That's coach's job to make sure he understands what everybody else is going. Like for me specifically, I never told my coach I was injured. Like I never did. I ruptured two tendons in my wrist, and I never told my coach. Like it's the coach's job to understand what's going on with their player and see. Okay, maybe Judge is moving a little weird. Let me see what's going on with him. And if they're honest, it only helps. So I can't blame a guy for being injured or being open about his injuries, especially so early in the season. If this was October and Judge sat in game 3 of the ALCS because he was sore on his side,
Yeah.
then I'd say, okay, that's soft. But I don't really, I don't, if even if he is telling Aaron Boone and being honest, I'm not going to blame him yet.
Yeah. Listen, I
Not
think
yet. Not yet.
everyone has a right to be frustrated with the situation, but
Yeah.
Jalen, there's another situation that I do want to talk about. Let me
Okay.
pop it up on the screen very quickly here.
I'm excited about
Uh,
this.
bro, Ken Rosenthal tweets out multiple suspicious baseballs from Dodgers Trevor Bauer sent to MLB for inspection. Latest attempted crackdown by league being put to test. Bro, this is like, I don't want to say this is big news, but like I would say this is pretty big news.
I mean, I think it's big news. I don't really care about it at all because I don't think you should be limiting. I think there should be like, and this is kind of Trevor Bauer's idea, ironically. There should be like an agreed upon substance by the Players Union and Major League Baseball that pitchers can use the same way hitters can use pine tar. I
Mhm.
don't think there's any downsides to having a pitcher having some kind of substance just because it's better for safety. And I know that, it's said that it gives the pitchers advantages, but if I'm a hitter, even if I'm a hitter, I'd rather a pitcher have control. A guy throwing 95, some guys throwing 100. I'd rather have him be able to control where he's throwing the ball than feel like the ball's slipping out of his hands. So there should be some kind of agreed upon substance. But the fact that it's Trevor Bauer is so ironic
I
and funny.
know. I know.
That
And
is
listen,
pretty funny.
I'm not like a Trevor Bauer hater like a lot of people are. Like I don't think he's like the worst person in baseball like a lot of people think. But it's like just so ironic that he's the guy that MLB is cracking down after. I mean, because do we really think that
Yeah,
he's the only one using like these suspicious substances?
I
Like
think
what if
they're
they come
all
after
using it.
Cole next?
But that's my thing, bro. I don't understand why MLB's even doing this. Like they're all using it. So I don't understand why there needs to be some kind of crackdown. Like what harm? Like the baseball never fails to like focus on the absolute wrong things about the game. Like instead of focusing on like how we can get more runs because of pitchers using pine tar or whatever substance it is. How about we eliminate the most ridiculous rule there ever was with the
Ugh.
extra inning rule, and how about we
Who came
let
up with that?
how about we let there be universal DH? Like I don't understand why those are not the things that we're thinking about. They want to have offense be more, but no, let's let pitchers hit who basically go up there with a wiffle ball bat. Like I don't understand what their thinking is.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because, like, do we think that there's any chance MLB is like just looking to make an example out of Trevor Bauer and just like send a message to every pitcher in the league, but use Bauer as like the bait for it?
It's possible, but I don't think it'll just be because like it's not gonna just be because it's Bauer. Like people think MLB has it out for Bauer because he speaks out against them and stuff like that. If there's something to the base like on the baseball that is like illegal, they might make an example of him just so that the rest of the league is a little bit on edge about it. But I don't. It won't be. I don't think MLB is like singling out Bauer for
Yeah.
any specific reason.
Now, I don't have like an athletic membership or else I would read the article, but like I'm interested to know if like this is just clickbait and Bauer's just like one of many who had like baseballs that are like being sent to MLB for testing. Cause I mean, I find it very hard to believe that Bauer's the only one that has suspicious baseballs. Like, you know what I mean?
I
Out of
wonder if
every
this is
pitcher in
like,
the league.
but I wonder if this is something where like baseball just like watches games or the umpires like report it, or if like
Or the
the
opposing
opposing team,
team.
like if that's the case, if it's just about reports, I could see it just being Bauer. I could see there being like less than 10 reports this year because think about it.
Yeah.
If you're a major league team and you know all your pitchers love using these foreign substances, why would you report another team? You know what I mean? If
No,
it's
I
the
agree.
if it's the umpires, that might be a different story. Um, but I don't know. I just really how many umpires interact with baseballs that have already been used? So that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Listen, we could touch on the extra inning rule really quickly. Who invented that? Because like I just don't understand like where the reasoning comes from and why the players union would even approve it, like Lori asked. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't speed up the game whatsoever. If anything, I would say it kind of slows it down just because of like all the other pitching changes you're gonna go through and like it's stupid, bro.
It
It
makes
makes absolutely
the
no
game
sense.
it makes the game feel like it's not even it doesn't even count. Like I
No,
know
once we get
a
past the
one
ninth, it's like, all right, this is a joke.
yeah, like it just doesn't even feel like real baseball. It doesn't even make sense. It's like look what happened last night. I know the Yankees missed up a lot of opportunities, and we all say like they deserve to lose that game. But the Yankees had what 13 hits to
Yeah.
the Orioles like four, but
Yeah.
because like of a an error by Gleyber Torres, the game was extended, and like it just every small little thing can happen. Like that's annoying. I know that's how baseball is, but let the game play out and be true. Like let the Orioles manufacture a real run and beat us rather than like luck into an error, and that's the reason that they score that inning. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, listen, also, speaking of extra innings yesterday, um, actually, before we do bring up this comment, shout out to Brian DeGenero in the chat. Love you, Brian. Brian, just go try some Chick-fil-A, bro. Like,
Still hasn't
like you
tried it.
gotta do it. No, it's ridiculous
Oh
at this
man,
point. Like,
my school's Chick-fil-A on campus just opened up, so I'm pretty excited
bro,
about that.
he's like 40 and he's never had Chick-fil-A. Come on, Brian. Um, but yeah, I want to bring up Spencer's comment here. If Torres' defense doesn't change by All-Star break, they should think about trying to re-engage in combos for Castillo. Listen, I mentioned this just because Glaber kind of cost the Yankees the game last night in extra innings. That's bro, he got a simple ground ball, would have been third out of the inning. That's an easy routine play for major league shortstops. Clearly, like Glaber Torres keeps proving to us he's not a major league caliber shortstop defensively. That is, but listen, I would have to agree. We talked about this like multiple times throughout the offseason. Some people rip me to shreds for it, but I'm a sole believer in it. Trade Glaber in a package for Luis Castillo and then sign Trevor Story. And then you end up with Story and Castillo over just Glaber. Like that's a
Listen,
very great scenario.
I'm with you, and I've been a Glaber defender for a long time. Not at shortstop. I think it's been known that I did not want Glaber at shortstop. I obviously wanted the Yankees to get Lindor, I just really think like at some point you have to stop trying to fit what is the expression, a square in a round hole, or
Oh yeah.
whatever that expression is. Like he has shown you time and time and time and time again he is a better second baseman than he is a shortstop. Can he play shortstop and be decent? Sure, but that's not what a championship caliber team needs. We don't need a guy to give you 15 errors in a 16-game season and say, well, he hits the ball sometimes, like, or he's young and he can improve. The things that he struggles with have nothing to do with age. He does not have range. He doesn't have a super strong arm. Like, he doesn't have the IQ that you want your major league shortstop to have. I think he's a pretty solid second baseman. He's made a lot of really solid plays at second base. If you look back in the 2019 playoffs against the Twins, he made some nice plays, and against the Astros, I don't know if you remember in Game 3 when we ended up getting the sweep, he had that one inning
Yes.
where he made like 3 ridiculous plays, and then Game 1 of the ALCS at second base,
He was a good second baseman.
he was a good second baseman. His range was good, well suited for that side of the field. And I really just don't understand why we're still trying to. And maybe listen, I'll hold off my judgment on this until I see them fully commit to him at shortstop for the long term. Because although I think we could have traded for Lindor last year, that doesn't just because they didn't doesn't mean they're committed to him long term. I think
Yeah.
they know that a big shortstop class is coming up. So if we don't pay any of these shortstops and Gleyber Torres is our shortstop for beyond this free agent class, then we know that they're just okay with mediocrity.
What do you think about Gio to short? I mean, because we
No,
talked about this in spring training. Gio could be the Yankees' backup shortstop, but you wouldn't want him to start.
no, bro, it doesn't. No, like this is exactly the same thing. Like, stop trying to put squares into round holes, whatever that expression is. Gio
Yeah, but
is
I'm
one of the
not
best.
as opposed to it.
I am. Gio is the best third baseman defensively, probably in the American League, besides Matt Chapman. Like,
Sure, yeah.
unless I'm thinking, I'm missing somebody. I think it's Matt Chapman and then Gio defensively. I don't. Why would you move him off of that position? It's kind of like the Yankees thinking when it comes to DJ at second base. It
Because you
doesn't make
spread the
sense to move,
wealth.
but you don't though because now you're putting Gleyber at a position that he's never played at the major league level, and it's even
No,
worse.
you'd be putting Glaber at second.
And DJ at third.
Yeah,
DJ's not a great third
that's what the
baseman.
plan would be.
Yeah, but
No, he's
DJ's
not.
not
But
a great.
okay, but then you have like an average third baseman, an elite shortstop, and like an average second baseman, rather than like a
I
below
don't know.
average shortstop.
I don't know that Gio's an average shortstop. I've never
Listen,
seen him play shortstop at the major league
I'm
level.
not an advocate for Gio at short, but like anything could be better than Glaber at this point.
I don't
Obviously,
know
I
that
want
that's
like a
true though.
solidified shortstop, like a Corey Seager, like a Trevor Story, but we're not
I
getting that.
Yeah, but I don't know that Gio is that much better than Glaber at shortstop. Gio is one of the best defensive third basemen, and you can see like Gio's game at third base. His defense is not because of his range or because of how strong his arm is. Gio has really quick reactions, and he has a vacuum glove. That's not necessarily
Sure,
the traits that you need for the shortstop upgrade that we're looking for. You know what I mean? So
it's
I
fair.
don't
It's fair.
I don't think you move. I don't think you move Gio out of his best position by far. It
Bro,
doesn't
I
make sense
think
to
the
me.
bottom line here is that it just sucks that the Yankees are put in this position because Gleyber Torres can't play shortstop.
Yeah,
And it's really annoying that we even have to like think of these ridiculous scenarios that shouldn't be happening. Gio Urshela and DJ LeMahieu should be staying at their natural positions. Gleyber Torres, he either needs to figure it out, or the Yankees need to move on to the shortstop position. It's as simple as that. But LA Yankee King, this pisses me off. No, you don't trade Gleyber Torres. You trade DJ LeMahieu and put Torres at second base. And again, I was proven right. LA Yankee King, you were proven right about nothing. DJ LeMahieu is not the problem here. The problem is that Gleyber Torres cannot play shortstop. What trade DJ LeMahieu? What are we talking about?
I have no
Like,
comment.
what is this?
I have nothing to add here.
LA Yankee King, you were proven right about nothing. I don't know why this man hates DJ LeMahieu so much. It
Yeah,
makes no sense.
I don't get it.
Tylag says, I honestly see them trading Voit since he's 6 years older and sliding LeMahieu to first, Glaber to second, then sign Story or Seager. They won't trade Torres unless he struggles with the play too. But I think what we need to remember is if the Yankees want like a top of the line pitcher like Luis Castillo, you're not going to get him for Luke Voit. You're just
I
not.
hate the idea of trading Luke Voit. Every time someone mentions it, I hate it.
You would rather trade Glaber over Voit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, not because I think Glaber is worse than Luke Voit by that much, or I hate Glaber Torres, nothing like that. But like you said, you get so much more value out of Gleyber Torres than you do for Luke Voigt. And I don't understand. I don't want. I hate this whole like shuffling guys out of their position to make room for like you know what I mean. Leave guys in their normal positions and upgrade the position that the only one that's like sticking out like a sore thumb. It's only
Yeah.
shortstop that's the problem. Third base is locked down. Second base is locked down. Luke Voigt is not a gold glover by any stretch, but it's pretty clear that he's our first baseman of the future. I think he's what 28, 29 years old, 30, whatever. However old he's in the middle of his prime. There's no reason to get rid of him and then put DJ in his position and take DJ out of the position where he's a gold glover. It doesn't make any sense to trade that guy. If you're
Bro,
going to move on from Gleyber Torres, you need to trade Gleyber Torres. Get
listen,
high
you
value
know,
for him. He's going to be 24 years old. He can play shortstop. You sell that to another team, or he can be your second baseman of the future. He obviously has the highest potential with the bat. Then you bring in a proven all-star, perennial all-star like Corey Seager or Trevor Story, or I'd even take. I don't want Javi Baez, but I'd take Javi Baez
no, I don't.
over. Okay, but listen, I'd rather have Javi Baez and a front of the line rotation guy than
Sure,
just Gleyber Torres. So
sure.
I'm saying I'd even take that.
You ready for this? July 31st comes around. July 31st.
Yeah.
Colorado Rockies call the Yankees. They say, look, we'll trade you Trevor Story if you give up Gleyber Torres and Clark Schmidt. Are you doing it?
No,
Yes or no?
no. Why would I
No?
do that? That
Why
doesn't make
not?
any sense. Because
Why not?
why would I give up Gleyber Torres for another shortstop and one of my best pitching prospects when I can get Trevor Story for just money and use Gleyber Torres on another asset?
Because you want to win the World Series this year.
Does Trevor Story over Gleyber
Do you
Torres
think
really provide that opportunity?
do you think the Yankees win the World Series with Gleyber Torres at shortstop?
They absolutely could.
Do you think they will?
I mean that's that I don't think Gleyber okay, that's hard to answer because I think there's other factors. I don't think Gleyber Torres is going to be the reason the Yankees don't win the World Series, if that makes sense. Like I think pitching could gloss over his offense could gloss over his errors at shortstop. So I think they very well could win the World Series with him at shortstop. I just think trading him could set up a much longer window for the Yankees to be in World Series contention. Does that make sense? I
I
don't
listen,
think
I
I don't think
agree.
moving on from Torres really like I don't think trading basically excluding Clark Schmidt because he's not contributing to the World Series this year. So if you
Yeah.
just look at Torres versus Story this year, I don't think there's enough of a gap to say bringing in Story over Gleyber Torres this year and wasting that potential to get a Luis Castillo, a Josh Hader, whoever you decide you want to try to go after with that piece is really worth it. The margins are not wide enough.
Sure. Julio says, Pat question, why will you not want Javi Baez? Listen, all Yankee fans do is complain about the strikeouts and poor at bats we have from our hitters. Do me a favor, turn on a Cubs game one day and watch Javier Baez's at bats.
Yeah.
Odds are most of the time he strikes out in 3 pitches and swings at balls that bounce up to the plate. Like that's the last thing that the Yankees need in the lineup. Sure, he's a very good defensive shortstop, but offensively, Yankee fan, he probably would become the most hated Yankee.
I was literally just you took the words right. I was gonna say he would become the like most hated Yankee by
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
Like they would hate
easily.
him.
Um, FJ says, could you convert Glaber to an outfielder? Okay, we're really we're way off the deep end here. Hell no. I mean, there's no chance. Listen, if the Yankees ever tried converting Glaber Torres to an outfielder, I'll take a gallon of ketchup and pour it on my head, bro, because that's
Yeah.
probably the least possible thing to happen.
I don't even think it's not just because I'm not mad at the idea of converting him to an outfielder if he was on another team. Like I could see the Marlins doing something like that. Like, just trying it out. But I really don't think people recognize how deep our outfield is. Like we have so much outfield talent that like that's a reason why a guy like when they said Miguel Andujar was like taking fly balls in left field, it's like okay, great, we're never going to see him again. Like
Yeah.
we have Clint Frazier, Mike Talkman, Guardy still on the team, still have Hicks, still have Judge, obviously. Stanton is now eligible to play in the outfield. You have guys like Estevan Florial down there. You guys guys that have been in
Trey
spring training
Ambergy.
for years, like Trey Ambergy. Then you have Jason Dominguez coming, who's probably going to be up in the major leagues in 3 or 4 years. Like, we're not adding any outfield talent probably anytime soon, especially
Yeah,
converted.
I'd agree. And Swainer says, don't forget, we aren't just getting Story for our defense. It makes our offense better. Our defense, our leadership, our base running, our pitching better because of better defense. Bro, just imagining
I
Trevor
agree with
Story in
that.
pinstripes makes me a happy guy. Like,
No,
I think,
I'm
listen,
not.
don't get me wrong. I think between Trevor Story and Corey Seager might be a better fit for the Yankees just because he's a lefty. But who I would want more, it's obviously Trevor Story because I would say he's a much better player.
Yeah, no, I think Trevor Story is the guy that the Yankees should go after. Obviously now with Lindor, I think I think the whole like lefty thing was kind of played. It's kind of overplayed or
Yeah.
overblown, I should say. I don't really think the Yankees are going to look too deep into that when they make this decision. I think the fit should be more about how they elevate this offense and how good their defense is. And obviously, like we said, Story is a better player. He might command, honestly, a little bit less of a contract just because he's going to be, I think he's 3 years older than Corey Seager. So he
Yeah.
might be a little less expensive. He has history with DJ, so that could be our double play combo for years going forward. I'm not really I wouldn't be angry. It's almost like how Jets fans are looking at this draft. Like I don't think they'd be angry if they got one of the other two quarterbacks. I know you're not a huge football fan, but it's just
Yeah.
like you're almost in a good position whichever way you go, unless it's Carlos Correa or Javi Baez.
I mean,
So
but also here's the thing with Corey Seager. Also shout out to Derek NY Recaps. We got Derek in the chat. Listen, you say Seager lefty, but I think what a lot of people don't remember is that Corey Seager. Correct me if I'm wrong, but has he not had like a history of injuries throughout his career so
he
far?
has
I
no
mean,
he has
he hasn't played. I'm looking at his games played. He hasn't really played a full season. So he debuted in 2015. So 2016 was his first full year. He played 157 in 2016, then 145, then 26, then 134, and he played just about the full season last year. So I mean, he had a little bit of injuries in 2019, but 2018 he missed just about the whole season. Listen, my biggest fear is that he comes here and just becomes like an injury-prone shortstop, and like that's the last thing we need.
yeah no I mean listen, that's the concern whenever you give out a big contract. So
Yeah,
just hearing those games played numbers, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I think maybe just because he missed that whole season kind of skewed the way that I thought about his injury history. It's not as terrible as I thought it was.
yeah,
But
I remember him
yeah, I
being
mean,
injured a lot more often.
yeah, I mean, listen, I think it just comes down to who you feel more comfortable giving a big contract to. Um, and I mean, me personally, I just love the way Trevor Story plays the game. I think he is the perfect fit in this Yankee lineup. I know that we obviously want a lefty, and um, it would be cool to steal him away from the Dodgers, given that they would probably be like one of the contenders against us in the World Series. But I don't know, man. I just Trevor Story and pinstripes would be pretty awesome.
Listen, I have to address this one more time. LA Yankee King, bro. I'm so nice to you all the time. What is going on in your head right now? And yet you want to neglect it. And now it's a proven fact that I told you that signing DJ LeMahieu was the wrong move. Signing DJ LeMahieu is not the wrong move, my guy. Like, what are we talking about here? So the Yankees didn't sign DJ LeMahieu, LA Yankee King. How does that help their situation at all right now? Genuinely, how does it help Gleyber Torres at all? This makes no sense. LA Yankee King, you are ridiculous, bro. Signing DJ LeMahieu's the wrong move. Bro, get a life. I'm sorry. You're pissing me off, LA Yankee King.
Listen, I'm not. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand how DJ's the issue. I wasn't. I will be honest though. If when things started to get a little murky, as if the Yankees were not going to bring back LeMahieu, I wasn't super angry as long as they made other moves with that money. And um, at the time, I wanted Bauer, so I was like, if you don't sign LeMahieu, you better get Bauer and then bring in like a veteran shortstop like Simmons or Galvis or something like that. But
Yeah.
that just clearly would have backfired. We all hate Bauer now, so it's like
Yeah, listen, THG,
I don't.
that's worth a timeout, by the way. That's definitely worth a timeout.
Maybe we should have
Um,
traded for Madison Bumgarner. Maybe that's what he's talking
bro,
about.
and move Judge to first base because Judge would definitely not get hurt at first base, right? Like, no.
Yeah, that's also what I'm confused about. Is like he wants DJ to move, so I'm a little confused. What would your like infield be? Because you have Judge at first, Glaber at second. Who do you have at short? Who do you have at third? Who's in right field? Who's in left field?
It just doesn't make sense. Like, okay, I don't even want to give him the time of day anymore. I really don't. But like, what do you think
I'm just
about what Mookie
intrigued.
said?
I'm intrigued.
It's like it's so ludicrous that it can't like my mind can't process it sometimes. Like the whole
Yeah.
like, oh, like I told you guys I was right. Like Judge needs to be a first baseman. How does him having a sore side prove that at all? Like genuinely at all? And it's like I thought
Yeah,
he
if
was
anything,
trolling,
him
but he's not.
him being the first baseman would make it worse because he's more
Yeah.
involved in it. Whatever. Anyways,
What do you think about Mookie's comment? The most Yankee thing to do, in my opinion, is sign Baez.
I think that I completely disagree with that. I think the most Yankee thing to do here is to not do anything and just let Gleyber Torres be our shortstop. That would be the most Yankee thing to do.
That's true. No,
I
that
don't
is the
think
most Yankee thing to do.
the Yankees are not going anywhere near Javi Baez and anywhere near Carlos Correa. I mean, I don't think Carlos Correa is going anywhere near the Yankees, but I think the Yankees will explore. There's already kind of like a little bit of chatter as far as like, oh, Trevor Story and LeMahieu were best friends. Like I know
Yeah, Federico.
Federico. He put out a tweet. I love his Twitter. He puts out a lot of good content.
No,
Like he
he's
was talking
awesome.
about,
Shout out to
yeah,
Dan
and
Federico.
he was talking about how there's a connection between LeMahieu and Story and how they're best buddies and how Story has a little bit of interest in the Yankees. Not sure if the Yankees have that interest back yet. There's a long way to go, obviously. Gleyber Torres could turn it around, and we could see spring training Gleyber Torres. That's possible. If we see spring training Gleyber Torres, I'm gonna shut my mouth and let him do his thing because he
Do
looked
we think?
solid in spring
Okay,
training.
like I hate to harp on the labor defense thing, but I think it's a huge. It's other than Judge, I'd say it's the biggest talking point for the Yankees right now.
Yeah,
But like the fact that we did see his defense so good in spring training, does that lead us to believe it's just a mental thing for him at this point?
100. I've
Because
said this the
it's
whole
not like he
time.
doesn't have the potential, right?
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing. I think it is a mental thing as far as like his throws and mental errors, as far like his IQ, throwing the ball to
Yeah,
the wrong base, hesitating. Sometimes a guy's clearly going to beat out a play and you still throw it and overthrow it or under. Those are things that are mental, but just his like athletic ability, his range, his arm strength in the hole, like those are things that are not going to magically improve. Like
yeah,
maybe he could spend on an entire offseason working on hip flexibility and his stride length, maybe, and like that's possible. Things have happened like that before. But if a guy generally if a shortstop doesn't have range, he doesn't just magically develop range.
yeah.
If shortstop doesn't have a cannon for an arm, he doesn't magically develop a cannon for an arm. So there are things that are mental, but when you have the mental errors and then you also have the physical incapabilities, it's not a great recipe.
No, I definitely agree. And listen, I think I kind of agree with you in the sense of the most Yankee thing to do after the season is to just keep Gleyber Torres as a shortstop. And that's probably my biggest fear.
Yeah.
But Swainer has a really interesting comment. I think I kind of agree with him too. Don't get mad at me, Jay, but Story is better than Lindor in my eyes. I
No,
think
he
if we're
is.
talking like
He is
baseball
better.
player, like Trevor Story's better.
No, Trevor Story is I mean, it's tough. It's a tough conversation because there's so many different elements to it, but there's a strong case to be made that Trevor Story is the best shortstop in baseball. Um, I would love Trevor Story to play third base, but I see him a lot as a third baseman, but he's such an elite defender at shortstop. You don't even want to mess with that. I also kind of see the same thing with Correa though, but
I
he's
bro,
that's the kind of guy where like okay yeah he's our shortstop, but like if you say you want to give Gio a day off, you can let Story play third for a game or two. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's not you don't ever want to do the opposite. You don't ever want to force a third baseman to play shortstop or a second baseman to play shortstop. But shortstops are those kind of guys where you can put them anywhere pretty much on the field and they'll produce.
Listen, do you want to know Trevor Story's stats? The past 3 seasons. So since
Honestly, you can
2018,
say them, but I'm gonna be angry and I'm gonna get jealous. So go
go
ahead.
for it. Since 2018, he's batted 292 with a 355 on base and a 909 OPS with 83 home runs. But Yankee fans would be absolutely livid as to how he started the season so far this year. Through 6 games, he is 5 for 27, which gives him a 185 batting average. Yankee fans would be rioting, bro.
Especially if we give him a listen. All that doesn't matter. His numbers are gonna regress or progress to the mean. He's
What
gonna
do you
be
think
great.
do you think that he has like the Coors Field effect attached to him?
No, because he has every other tool. Like it's almost like how people said Arenado had the Coors Field effect, but like he played great on the road also. Like
No, I get it, but
uh,
like Trevor Story has some pretty drastic splits.
yeah, sure, but like Coors Field doesn't improve your batting average. It doesn't improve how much you get on base. It doesn't improve your defense. It doesn't improve your speed. Like you still have to put the ball. Like Coors Field helps you turn a few doubles into home runs here and there, and
Sure.
maybe a couple doubles into triples. That's really what Coors Field does. It's not like it's not you're turning a terrible player into a decent player or a decent player into an all-star.
No, I get it, but like that's why I'm just kind of confused as to like why his on base percentage is 50 points lower on the road.
Yeah, but that's not like
Just a mental thing.
no, I think sometimes that's just kind of like how baseball works out. Like it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with like where he's hitting.
No, I
That
guess
like you
it.
know what I mean.
Listen,
Like sometimes you just don't get on base as much on the road. Like it's not. I don't think it. Sometimes
no,
things are
sure,
just coincidental.
sure. Anthony says, Pat, switch out Garcia for Schmidt in that Story deal. Um, if you switch out Schmidt with Garcia, I think I make that trade.
I don't. I don't.
I think I
I
do.
don't
I
think
think I do.
why would you waste? Okay, then your whole plan of having a Glaber replacement and a starting pitcher is completely ruined. You don't
That's
have
not
that anymore.
true. Because the Yankees.
It is.
Okay, do we really think Deivi Garcia is going to play a key role in the Yankees win the World
That's
Series
not what I'm
this year?
saying. What I'm saying is you are saying trade Glaber for a Luis Castillo or some kind of pitcher.
No, yeah,
But in this deal, you're already expending
I
your best
know,
asset.
and it sucks. But like, what do you do for this season? You just have to stick out with Glaber,
100%. You'd have to stick it out. And
bro.
I
My
mean,
biggest fear though is like we're in a World Series Game 1 situation, right? Bottom of the ninth inning, guy hits an easy ground ball to Glaber Torres, and he just botches it, and we lose.
I understand that, but
Like you're
I
telling
just
me you would be
really,
confident in that situation?
I mean, no, I wouldn't be like as confident as I would be if a ball was hit to DJ LeMahieu or Gio. But I'm saying like if you're if you're gonna tell me that if I make this trade, I'm automatically in the World Series in that situation, sure. But that's not really what that trade doesn't necessarily push the envelope that much.
No, yeah. Mookie says, based on Lindor and Tatis's contracts, do you think that the Yankees would pay Story or Seager or Baez or whoever that amount and give those years?
Well, those two are a lot younger than Story, but or not maybe like a. I think Lindor is 3 years younger than Story or 2 years younger, and um, how old is Seager? Seager, what, 26, 27?
Seager is, I could look it up real quick.
Because I think Trevor Story is 28 or 29.
Or Seager's 26.
Okay, so 2 years younger. I could see Corey
Trevor's,
Seager getting like 12 years or 10
yeah, he's
years.
28.
Yeah, Story is right.
Yeah, he's only a year older than Lindor is.
Yeah, I could see. Well, I don't know about Lindor. Got what, 12 years?
Lindor got
12, 341 or something like that.
he got 10 years, 341.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a fair estimate. I think Story might get like 10, 350 or something like that,
He's gonna
which I
get
think.
around the same as Lindor.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think
I don't
Lindor
see Seager
also,
getting more than that though.
but I also think it depends where they get it from. Like, I think if Seager goes back to LA, I don't think they give him that much at all.
No.
But I like if Story goes to the Yankees, they're going to pay him a lot because new market, obviously big, like big city. Their luxury tax is resetting. Like they have the ability to pay him a lot. But if Trevor Story wants to go to, I don't know, the Rangers, like there's a couple teams that I could see maybe giving him a lot more years and less AAV.
Yeah, I guess. Listen, before we do wrap things up tonight, I want to bring up Swainer's comment. I'm about to make you drool. One third base, DJ. Then Judge, Story, Stanton, Voit, Torres, Sanchez, Hicks, Frazier. The only thing that I don't like about this is you're not going to hold on to Gleyber Torres. It's just not going to happen. If you do sign Trevor Story, Gleyber Torres is gone. You're dealing him for a top of the line starter. Correct?
I don't. I mean, you probably, but I don't hate the idea of. I don't hate the. I'd have to see how Gio performs this year. I don't know. I think you should. That should be your thinking. You should trade Glaber, but I don't know. I mean, what if they see Glaber as more valuable as their second baseman than Gio as their third baseman? It's possible.
Yeah.
We could see how Gio performs this year because he could regress a lot, and they could say we still want Glaber in our lineup, and we think he has the potential to be one of the best second basemen in baseball, as we thought he was going to be after that 2019 season. So I wouldn't be super mad at that.
Listen, I'm not that mad about anything right now, just because it's an off day and we're talking about like random ass trades that are never going to happen. But love it. Chat, do keep in mind tomorrow the Yankees start a series against the Rays. Game starts at 3:00. We'll be live for the pregame on this channel at 2:00. And then directly after the game, we'll be live on the channel for the postgame whenever that ends. So we also have a recorded video coming up on the channel tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So stay tuned for that as well. Hope everyone has an awesome night. Jalen, we got to meditate.
I think I need a little. I got a little worked up today. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, let's
meditate. It's an off day. We just came off a loss.
I'm gonna meditate for the Yankees to sweep the Rays and also for Judge to be healthy. How about that?
There we go.
Ready? Go. That was peaceful. That was very peaceful. You'll love to see that.
I really calmed me down.
Chat, I am going live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Unhinged New York. We're going to be playing some MLB The Show, so stay tuned for that. If you guys don't decide to join me on Twitch, I'll see you guys back for the pregame tomorrow. Hope everyone has an awesome night. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. See you on Twitch in about 5 minutes. Peace.